All right, folks, here we are, the 2017 Archery Shooters Association event in Appling, Georgia. This weekend's coverage is brought to you by AAE, Arizona Archery Enterprises. It's time for the Known Pro. Obviously, the Known Pro goes last because they use rangefinders. So what we have here is we have Christopher Perkins at a 432, Jacob Marlowe at a 432. 14 for Christopher Perkins right off the bat. That's going to be a good start for him right there. Jacob Marlowe also tied at a 432. Donnie Thacker was at a 430. Robert Householder was at a 429. And Kyle Dow was at a 427. So here we go. Hey,
I'm back.
Darren Christianberry's back. So here we go. Jacob Marlowe with a 12.
Boom.
On the Long Coyote. So here we go. We're now we're moving on to Donnie Thacker. 12 for Donnie Thacker.
Wow. Ring, ring, ring.
Right. Christopher Perkins has been kind of the story of the weekend here. Christopher Perkins, let's see with this last, Robert Householder with an 8. Christopher Perkins came in the rain on the first day and shot 2 5s and 2 8s, was way out of the hunt. Comes out today and just lays it down.
Came out swinging.
Totally came out swinging. Ends up with more bonus rings than Jacob Marlowe, even though he shot those 5s and 8s. So obviously Christopher Perkins had some issues. 10 there for Kyle Dow.
Kyle.
So here we go, folks, heading into the second arrow. Christopher Perkins still with the lead. All right, Darren, here we go with 2017 ASA Appling, Georgia. Arrow number 2 on the Known Pro. We have Christopher Perkins at a 446, Jacob Marlowe at a 444, Donnie Thacker at a 442, and then Robert Householder and Kyle Dow tied at a 437.
Mm-hmm.
This shoot-off, as we were previously mentioned, is pretty interesting given the comeback.
Yeah.
The comeback kid, Christopher Perkins. He actually had issues in the rain last year. I'm not sure exactly what happened yesterday. But he keeps shooting like this. I'll be able to go out there and talk to him in just a few minutes.
He's so confident in what he's doing. He's really fun to watch.
Jacob Marlowe didn't look super stoked with that shot. Follow through was a little funky, but let's see what we got going on here.
Five for Robert.
That's probably not what he was looking for to stay in the hunt there, that's for sure. But in this class, you got to go for the 14s. Yep. That's all there is to it. Donnie Thacker going for the upper 12, gets a 10 for Donnie Thacker. Jacob Marlowe on the deer. Hits the 12. So obviously Jacob was putting some Spanglish on that one there last minute.
Giving it the onion, I think they call that sometimes,
exactly
isn't it?
Right, exactly right. Chris Perkins on the Long Coyote. I don't think we'll be seeing any zeros on the Coyote.
Should not. Should not.
And a 10 for Chris Perkins. Yeah, I don't think Jacob Marlowe, even in light of his new hairdo and looking 11-teen, is going to give up without a fight.
No, definitely not.
And an 8 for Kyle Dow. So heading into the third arrow here, we do have a tie for the lead with Christopher Perkins and Jacob Marlowe, and then two-way tie between Donnie Thacker and Robert Householder at a 452, and Kyle Dow with a 445. Heading into the third arrow here in the Known Pro in Appling, Georgia. All right, here we go, Darren. This is the third arrow in the Known Pro at the Archer Shooters Association event in Appling, Georgia. Pretty exciting so far. Christopher Perkins and Jacob Marlowe are now tied, so it's going to be kind of curious to see how each one of those guys go. I mean, both guys are already past the Long Coyote, so now it's pretty much going to turn into a gunfight.
It is, and I think Chris went for the 14 right there, and Jacob only went for a 12, so we'll see how that shakes out.
Absolutely. So here's the pressing question, Darren, is when do you think the last time the top of Jacob Marlowe's ears actually saw the sun?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
If I could, we got his hair cut. If we could get him to pull his pants up, that dude would be, hey, he'd be a fine young man.
There you go. 10. 10 for Kyle on the Coyote. Chris Perkins tied for the lead. 8 for Chris Perkins. Jacob Marlowe on the Warthog.
Looking for 10 here to move into the lead by 2 points.
Jacob going to be a 10.
Jacob also leads in bonus.
Nope.
And a 10 on the Warthog. So heading into the fourth arrow here, we got a little bit of a lead change. Here we go, Darren, headed into the fourth arrow. We've had a lead change here with Jacob Marlowe taking the 2-point lead over Christopher Perkins, 466 to 464. Right on their heels is Donnie Thacker with a 462.
Yeah, Jacob's sitting in a good spot. He's got the 2 shortest targets left.
Yes, he does.
There he is. There's a good picture of Jacob who just shot.
Chris Perkins last to fire there. Guys are headed out to the Black Panther for the first arrow call, and we have
12 for Jacob.
12 for Jacob. That's exactly what he needed to do right there.
Perkins has got a good-looking arrow down there.
And a 12 for Chris Perkins. Chris not giving it up.
No, they're going to battle.
14 for Kyle Dow.
Nice.
Good shooting right there. Robert Householder with a 10 on the Long Coyote. That's proved to be one of the most up and down targets that I've seen in a shoot down in a long time.
It's a tough target even at any distance, and they've got it set out there quite a ways, and it's really made it tough.
$14 for Donnie Thacker. It's kind of what Donnie needed to do at that point.
He's tied for second right now.
So here we go, heading into the fifth and potentially final arrow. We have Jacob Marlowe in the lead at a 478 with a 2-point lead over Christopher Perkins and Donnie Thacker tied for second. Here we go, Darren. Fifth arrow here. We're obviously going to have a sixth arrow, but
for
on
sure.
the fifth arrow here, Christopher Perkins needs to make up a little ground. Jacob Marlowe's taking that 2-point lead. Chris finds himself tied with Donnie Thacker. Both Christopher Perkins and Donnie Thacker shot very, very good scores in Reading. Both
Yes.
extremely good marked yardage shooters. So, they're both capable of catching up. But on that 14
For Jacob.
For Jacob. So Jacob was on the links there, which was obviously a good target to be in this
No
position.
doubt.
So he capitalizes with a 14, which puts Jacob Marlowe at a 492. Which, with that being said, Jacob is going to, well, that's going to be a 6th arrow. So he's not going to be shooting the long coyote, and that's a 10 on the long coyote.
Who was that for?
That would be for Donnie Thacker. So he shoots that 14, then follows it up with a 10. Robert with a 14 for Robert. That might mix things up there a little bit. Here we go on the Warthog. And 8. 8 for Kyle on the Warthog.
And he got it.
And a 12 for Perkins. That's gonna make things interesting heading into this last
3 guys in the final arrow.
Here we go. So stay tuned for the 6th and potentially final arrow in the Known Pro here at the ASA in Appling, Georgia. All right, Darren, here we go. 6th and final arrow in the Known Pro here at the ASA in Appling, Georgia. Donnie Thacker up at a 486. Obviously, they stepped him back this time, so they're actually shooting the mule deer from behind the stake. So this one's going to be a little longer.
And the official Leopold distance was 48.2 yards.
Is that what they said?
That's what they said.
Okay, there we go. 48.2 yards, official. And a 10. 10 for Donnie Thacker.
So Donnie, barring any mistakes from Chris or Jacob, will wrap up 3rd place.
So Donnie Thacker's gonna make the podium there. All right, Darren, here we go. 6th and final arrow for Christopher Perkins. Obviously, Chris finds himself trailing Jacob Marlowe by 4 points. So, really, he does have a 4-point lead already over Donnie Thacker. So, really, he has no choice but to shoot for a 14 right here. There's just nothing else.
If he hits an 8, he could still take 2nd because he's got Donnie beat on bonus rings.
Right,
So, but I would
exactly.
say Chris will probably go for the win here.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Chris is not afraid to make the tough shot. Chris is actually the guy that came a half a shaft from winning $1 million in the NFA here just a few years ago.
Interesting. He went for the 12.
Well, let's see what the call is down there. Chris Perkins goes for a 12.
4 points behind.
And he gets it. That's a 12 for Chris Perkins.
500 points.
So Jacob Marlowe coming into this 6th and final arrow really only needs an 8 to tie, 10 to win.
Yep.
And so this is, they're saying it's 48.2 yards. So at this point, Jacob Marlowe pretty much just needs to hit a 10 to win.
Yeah, and he's got a big smile on his face right now. I'm pretty sure he knows what's going to happen here.
Yep.
Bingo. And Jacob Marlowe is your Known Pro champion.
So that's going to wrap it up here from the 2017 Archery Shooters Association event in Appling, Georgia. Known Pro champion is going to be elite shooter Jacob Marlowe. There we go. All right, so I'm here with your 2017 ASA Appling, Georgia Known Pro champion. That was pretty good shooting this weekend, bud.
Thanks, man. It's tough out here. I was coming to it tied with Chris, and Chris is probably the best shooter I've ever seen him shoot off, so I was a little nervous. Nervous is probably an understatement for it.
Absolutely. So once you got through the long coyote there, you were set up for the last 3 targets to pretty much seal the deal. So heading into those last 3 targets, you got the 14 on the end here. Kind of what was your strategy heading in towards the end when you started to kind of see that you had the lead?
Well, when I was looking, my first arrow was on the coyote. If I was going to shoot a 10, I was going to go for the 14 on the deer, but I hit a 12, so I figured try to lay up, hopefully catch the deer 12, and I did. Hit the warthog. I mean, warthog was 47. It was hoping I hit it. Black cat, I don't even know where I broke. Somehow caught it. Hit. I think I missed. I don't know what I missed. I don't know. But lynx, I hit a 14, and the deer, that mule deer, my pinhold was about that big trying to hit a 10. It was the size of the 10 ring.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. This definitely sets you up for a good run going forward. This has got to feel good after your description of how you felt you shot in Reading last week.
Yeah, I mean, my score wasn't awful in Reading. It's just I know what I'm capable of, and I have certain expectations for myself, and I just didn't meet the expectations that I feel that I should have shot. So it was just a little depressing for me.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.